For the last 20 years, APIA Scholars has been empowering the next generation of APIA leaders. With scholarships, mentorship, and leadership development opportunities, APIA Scholars has been helping students achieve their dreams of obtaining a college education.
Years ago, you were talking about the importance of data desegregation and also trying to think through how do we raise the visibility of this entire community and eliminate the invisibility of the AA and HPI community, which is often the case.
The late 90s leading up to 2000, the infrastructure for the Asian American Pacific Islander community was very thin.
When I listened to the objective of APIA Scholars in the very beginning, I found it hard to believe that there was not a national organization dedicated solely to the scholarship needs and education of the APIA community.
Our origin story is pretty powerful. There may not have been an APIA Scholars if it were not for the advocates that felt like it was critical for this organization to exist.
This was in 1999. The College Board had issued a series of reports called Reaching the Top, which was about the status of higher ed. And they left out Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders altogether. They said they were not issuing a report on them because they're not an underrepresented minority.
The work that we did at that time around the College Board for the Organization of Chinese Americans was really a catalyst for us to start digging into education issues.
We were already feeling like we weren't seen or excluded. Many people thought actually that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders didn't need scholarships.
All the Asian students, they're great, they're really good in school. That's just a myth. The first generation immigrant, they come here and a lot of times they're in financial difficulty.
Poverty levels of children vary greatly between the Asian community as well as the Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander community.
When you think about, oh my gosh, I've got to have enough money to be able to go to school, I've got to have enough money to pay my tuition, I've got to have enough money for living, and at the same time I have my whole family back in Hawaii or where it may be, and they don't have enough money to even eat, that's a concern.
The Engaged Millennium Scholarship, just like the College Board, did not originally include us. And after a series of conversations and advocacy by the national group, we were able to get them to include that.
In early 2000s, Ronald McDonald House Charities started a scholarship program, and they had an Asian element in there. So the Asian Operators Association decided to spearhead this and champion this scholarship program.
We want to do a national scholarship for the Asian community.
They pledged to raise $1 million for this effort.
At that time, there's a lot of money, so I don't know where I can get the money.
And it took them 5 years to do it, but we fulfilled that promise.
We start to expand at that time.
And so we were looking for an organization who can help us execute this on a national basis.
They were already organizing corporations. So that's when it was like, oh, wait, we need to bring the corporate and the community side together.
It was like a marriage made in heaven, having these two organizations back this effort. It was like having a gold seal of approval that this is a good endeavor to back.
It was 2006, then the Gates Millennium Scholarship Program was then transferred from the Organization of Chinese Americans over to the API Scholarship Fund.
The first 20 years is about creating a foundation, creating an entity that can be viewed upon by all as the premier entity to support the APIA community and its diverse set of scholars. I feel like where we are today is allowing us to really take it to the next level, is to ensure that we not only expand the quantity of scholars that we support, but provide greater levels of service and greater level representation and advocacy for these scholars, that their voice is heard by all and their needs are satisfied, and ensure that regardless of race, ethnicity, or capability financially to pay, is able to get a good education and have a pathway to success in life.
APIA Scholars has awarded over 8,000 scholarships, with 73% of them going to first-generation students, 60% of those living below the poverty line.
Some struggles that I had to face were navigating the application process. A majority of the time, I was just kind of ask friends for help because advisor assumed that since I'm Asian American, I should be able to know all these information already and should be able to succeed without their assistance.
I really wanted to apply because some of the money was going to cover like my out-of-pocket expenses for college, and so this meant I could work a little less during the school year because usually I work full time on top of my schoolwork, and so I was really happy. I was really relieved, honestly.
APIA Scholars will help so many students with their future and higher education that can help them navigate their college career and future endeavors.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I do know that my family cannot financially support me. So I know for many people, I'm sorry I'm getting emotional because hearing your stories is like behind the scenes, you don't really know what we go through. But some people have to take extra steps to get to where they are today. I'm very grateful to receive the APIA Scholarship, especially as I transferred to Portland State University and I pursued my bachelor's degree in community health education. I did graduate with my bachelor's degree with the highest honors, summa cum laude.
We are a community that has need. We are a very diverse community with so many different stories to tell. We're not a monolith.
In this time when words like diversity and inclusion are interpreted as negative terms, it's really critical that we have opportunities to explain how this scholarship fund makes America a better country.
Just a month ago, I signed all of our checks to our institutions. It was just a really overwhelming and exciting day to remember, why we're all here, why we're all doing this work.
Having the financial support that you need in order to get through these, whether it's higher education or other milestones in your life, and making sure that we are supporting everyone across a broad spectrum, I think it will be one of the greatest sort of legacies and accomplishments that APIA Scholars can do.
I think one of the most gratifying things for me is having a seat at the table now, being recognized by the NEA, and us being able to give feedback and input on direction, policy, and even funding. I think that is very important.
Because the more we can develop that deeper conversation across the nation, I think it'll be very helpful for them to truly understand the need for more funding, the need for more graduates.
Now that we're sitting at 20 years, I think the future is bright for APIA Scholars. I think we have a place and a voice. I think we are, over the years, have grown to be a very well-respected organization.
It has built trust and a brand, if you will, nationally. And that's come through the success of the work in the field, both providing scholarships, but also supporting young people and providing that leadership to the broader community.
And within that group of Asian Pacific Islander Americans, there are so many different sub-communities, each of which have their own needs.
The need is so great. We have the potential to really make a huge impact.
And I think through this organization, we can actually help remove those barriers.
As an organization that proudly supports diversity, equity, and inclusion, APIA Scholars stands firm in its commitment to removing all barriers to success. And when APIA students succeed, we all benefit from their contributions to our communities and society.
The call for the future is very demanding. There's so much more work to do. We have so much more work to do. There's just not enough money of how we can help people to get greater access to learning and education by removing the barriers to make it simpler, better, easier, wraparound services, great research, being able to tell the story. All of that is really important that we do that, and that's the work ahead.
I'm proud to support APIA Scholars and their mission to make college more accessible to APIA students. Will you join me?